Up next, we're going to take a much closer look at the verb decir. Now, this verb decir is ranked around number 6 in the top 100 most used verbs in Spanish, and it's again an irregular verb. Now, as we already know, decir means to say or to tell. So just like hacer, which is to do or to make, decir also has a double meaning. So let's jump into the present tense. To express something like I say or I tell, it would be digo. Digo is I say or I tell. How would you express I tell him every day? Le digo cada día. We're using le at the beginning because we're saying something to him. It's implying to him. So le digo cada día is I tell him every day. What about I tell her every day? Le digo cada día. So le stands for both to him and to her. How would you express I tell them every week? Les digo cada semana. Here we have les because les implies to them. So we have les digo, I tell them, cada semana, every week or each week. What about I tell you every month? Te digo cada mes. I say it. Lo digo. I don't say it often. No lo digo frecuentemente. Or more fluently, no lo digo frecuentemente. For you say or you tell, it would be dices. Dices. We have the S on the end there expressing you, that personal you. Dices. Try to express you tell me. Me dices or me dices. You tell me every day. Me dices cada día. You say it often. Lo dices frecuentemente. The next angle is for he, she, and it. So he says or he tells and so forth. All of that is expressed with simply dice. Dice. So dice is he says, he tells, she says, she tells, or it says, it tells. How would you express he tells me? Me dice. He tells me all the time. Me dice todo el tiempo. Do you remember how to say never? Nunca. Nunca. Now try to say, she never tells me. Nunca me dice. Remember that in Spanish we often throw these words right at the front of the sentence. So literally we're saying never she tells me. Nunca me dice means she never tells me. How would you say she says that it's the truth? Dice que es la verdad. She says that it's not correct. Dice que no es correcto. He says that I have to talk with you. Dice que tengo que hablar contigo. To express we say or we tell, it would be decimos. Decimos. We say it. Lo decimos. We say it all the time. Lo decimos todo el tiempo. We tell her every day. Le decimos cada día. We always tell the truth. Siempre decimos la verdad. Again, here we're throwing that word right at the front. Always we tell the truth. Siempre decimos la verdad. We always tell you the truth. Siempre te decimos la verdad. The next thing I'd like to try and say is, we don't always tell them the truth. Now the word for always we know is siempre. So not always would be no siempre. No siempre is not always. Try to express, we don't always tell them the truth. No siempre les decimos la verdad. The last angle we need now for the present tense is they. So they say or they tell. And that would be dicen, dicen. They say it all the time. Lo dicen todo el tiempo. They tell me all the time. Me dicen todo el tiempo. They tell me that they're going to be here tomorrow. Me dicen que van a estar aquí mañana. They tell me I have to do it. Me dicen que tengo que hacerlo. They say I should sell it, but I don't want to. Dicen que debería venderlo, pero no quiero. Let's just run through this final sentence. So we're starting off with they say, which is dicen, and they say that would be dicen que. If you remember, the handle for I should is debería, and we're using that with sell it. So I should sell it, debería venderlo, but I don't want to, pero no quiero. So we have dicen que debería venderlo, pero no quiero. Let's do a final check now on our present tense with decir. How would you say I say or I tell? Digo. You say or tell? Dices. He, she, or it says or tells? Dice. We say or tell. Decimos. And they say or tell. Dicen. So here it is all on one slide for you, and you can see the irregularities. So I say or I tell is digo, digo. Then from there we have dice for he, she, and it. Adding an S to that, we get you, dices, or adding an N, we get they, dicen. So that sounds familiar to us. And then decimos, where we have for we. Now the mos is familiar, isn't it? For we always have that clear characteristic sound of mos for we. But you can see that it's I all the way down, digo, dices, dice, and then it changes to decimos for we. So we have to be a little bit careful there. And then it goes back to dicen for they. This is why we have to get these to know these verbs individually, because there's a lot of little nuances that can catch you out. So again, we have digo, dices, dice, decimos, and dicen.